and welcome to Before the Bounce. We got AFL SNFL Pub Talk, brought to you by the Exchange Hotel out in Orlando. We were out there Friday night after the show, and I tell you what, Damien McGee was putting it all on for us, a few drinks and whatnot, but brilliant spot, so get down there. But
it is a brilliant spot.
We've got a special guest joining us tonight.
Yep, Steve Guy, 208 games with Woodville, West Torrens, life member of the SNFL.
Correct.
Welcome.
Thank you, Ando, Matt. Good to be here.
208 games, brilliant, of course. But,
it's a long journey.
But you had the merge as well, isn't it? That would have been a little bit tough, in it.
The merge was an interesting time. At that stage, it's all about. I think first training session there was nearly 100 players out on the track, and you start looking around from Woodville players to Torrens players, and then other players who are just coming out, and you think, where do you sit in the scheme of things? And basically, you're proving your whole self all over again.
What about Woodville West Torrens? I mean, pretty much from the time that they amalgamated, it's not too many times they missed the finals, and this year was one of those.
One of those times. Yes, it was. We became a very strong club. Probably didn't get the rewards with premierships over the last 26 years, but I think they've only missed the finals 3 times in that period since they've met.
It's a good record.
So if you work on success, they've probably been a very successful club.
Yeah. We don't want to give too much away, Ando, because you're going to have Steve on the couch with you
later
on in the show. But what we want to get straight into the SNFL. You'd be a very, very happy man. The Maggies are through, but Glenelg, the Bays, they knocked off the Crows on the weekend to get through probably who we thought were the best side all year. I
was a bit surprised, Stephen, not yourself. I actually thought Nord, who beat Sturt the week before, were outstanding. They might have will come up a bit flat, but I was really surprised at...
You're right, Nord were outstanding. Then they came up against the Crows, who probably looked a bit flat against Port. And then the Crows came out and just dominated.
Yeah,
they did right from the outset.
And then they looked a bit flat.
And then they looked flat. So Glenelg come out and done
talk about inconsistency with so many teams this year.
Yeah, which is good for the SNFL.
Yeah.
Really, it's been really good.
Have you seen much of a change over, especially the last probably couple of years? I know you've also coached a long time as well, and we'll talk about that a bit later. But I mean, the SNFL is getting more and more like that AFL style of play. Pushing, you've got to be fit. The interchange is so important. Where it's probably been most important the last couple of years, where it's always been pretty more settled, the old interchange, and you try to leave your best players on. It's all changing a bit.
Yeah, it has definitely changed, and it is more AFL orientated, running both ways more and more, and set plays, all the systems in place that they do. So it's still really good to watch. It's still fiercely one-on-one combative. And they just go for the whole game.
I think Glenelg will be hard to beat. I mean, they've been top all year. They had a wonderful game. I think it was later in the year against Port at Alberton, they looked a bit flat against Port, but it was a very, very close game. And I actually saw part of it, but they were saying it was one of the best SNFL games for many, many years. That particular one, I think it was 3 or 4 points, and I think Glenelg was saying they got a lot more in the tank.
Yeah, and you looked at it, and I think Glenelg do have a bit more in the tank. They seem to be pretty balanced all over the field. They've got a good midfield, really good forward line. McBean's been a tower of strength up there, and Reynolds sitting next to him.
There's some big forwards.
So they've got some really good players, and then Partington, the Gary medalist, running around, and their backline's good. And you've got a young 18-year-old out there who's stayed under 18 captain, Will Gould. Who's playing sensational.
They are a good side.
So they're pretty good.
Endo, you've obviously been involved in a long, fierce rivalry between Port and the Bays. So we're going to see that on Sunday. You'll be down watching.
Oh, definitely. I mean, probably one of the greatest memories of football is the 77 grand final. I went to 76. I was absolutely shattered as a young kid. It was a Rick Davies show. And that's when I think they had about 15,000+ along inside the boundary. What a classic that was. And I was there, which was... it was a great day being there, but which is such a disappointing result for us. And then Port Glenelg, 77, Russell Evert. Geez, it's been a long time, but it's worth the wait. Fantastic. So that was just, and for me personally, the rivalry's been there. Since I can remember watching footy in those mid 70s.
86, you remember 86?
Well, I remember 86. That was probably my rivalry when Scott Salisbury took me out and knocked me out. So we won't talk about that. But that started a lot of rivalry for me personally.
That's right.
Yeah,
I'm
but
still
no.
watching the footage. I still to this day believed if you didn't try
Yeah.
to steal the footy off your teammate who already had the footy,
I'm
you
actually
wouldn't have
sick
got
of
done.
you sending it to everyone as well, by the way.
But mate, boys, Sunday we'll see a huge crowd at the Oval.
Well, they're saying records.
Yes.
The main function room, they're saying 700 plus are booked in.
Yeah,
700 plus. So I don't know whether squeezing all the numbers
Yeah.
into that McGarry Medal room, but
Yeah,
wow,
no, that's
so
fantastic.
they're inundated, absolutely inundated. Press has really jumped on it. I mean,
Yeah, it's been
3,
everywhere.
4, 5 pages today.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yesterday the same. Probably
Yes.
more tomorrow. So the whole state's get behind it. It's just a classic, isn't it?
It is.
And it's building up to be a classic.
And that's why they're proposing it to be an absolute classic, and I can see it being that. Because they're two sides that go really hard at the ball.
Boys, we'll move on to the AFL, and Source Jacobs is off to GWS. We've spoken about this before. I don't know if you could have been away that week, Greg. I don't know if you're there, but it looks like GWS are the front runners to get him. Is that a good move for both? Well, is it a good move for the GWS, and then is it a good move for the Crows as well?
It's an interesting one, isn't it? I think Source has still got a fair bit to offer, and I think he could play a role with the Crows most definitely.
Didn't get any opportunity this year, did
No.
he? I mean, that's the thing that I question. If they think there was something there for him, well, you're not showing him anything from how
That's right.
how the opportunities he got this year. So
Yes.
really, if he wants to continue his AFL career,
He probably needs to look at going
he has to
somewhere
go. He has to go.
And the opportunity at GWS is probably greater because they've got Mumford. Then I think there's a young lad that did his ACL during this year, so he won't play much next year either.
Yeah,
So
well,
there's
yeah, you
probably
got
more
Dawson
opportunity.
Simpson's already retired.
That's
Mumford's
right.
Yeah.
banged up, basically.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
I think, by all reports as well, and even hearing Grundy's comments, I think it was yesterday or the day before, I think Crows are pretty hopeful that
He's open
they'll be getting him, so that makes it even harder for Source then as well. But
But do you think he'll get a lot of game time for GWS? I mean, they're a cracking side.
They are a cracking
they're
side,
cracking
but
side.
I
Well, they're
could
playing
see-
this week. They're in a prelim, so you're in the top 4. He couldn't get in the side that didn't make the 8.
I think I could see him.
And his
getting
age
game
point
time.
of view,
I could see him get it because I don't think Mumford's can play a whole year.
Yeah.
So I think they would almost split the season between the two of them.
2 old legs though, 2 old bodies.
But you look at it,
That's
there's
the
a lot.
question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a ruckman this day and age, the young ones running around, they play
Yeah.
as virtually as another ruck rover going
Yes.
around the ground. So, but I think there is still a place for these the old
He
dinosaurs.
reads it beautifully, doesn't he?
He does.
And that's what I thought that the Crows needed at times during the year to give him a good block because
Yeah.
he did deserve it and he is that good.
yeah,
Correct.
100%. And lads, just quickly to finish up, ex-Adelaide Crows, Ben Rutten now been announced that he's going to be the successor after Woosher at Essendon. Any thoughts on that being announced so early? It's sort of like the Mick Malthouse Buckley situation back in the day.
And Rusin
Yes,
and Goodwin.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
It didn't go that well this year, that one, did it?
No.
At all.
And Ruse and John Longmire as well.
Yeah.
Was another one. Yeah, it's an interesting one. I think they probably almost forced their hand into it with the Crows, especially with the Crows position coming available, and Fremantle was still searching for a coach. So
They think a lot of him down there, like
Obviously
a lot of
they
him.
do.
So you are right. They're trying to block him from
Correct.
putting his names forward, and,
Yes.
and,
Yep.
and another year for him. That makes an extra one of learning because Jesus, some pressure in there.
Oh, absolutely.
Who wants that job?
yeah,
Really, who wants that
absolutely.
job?
One of the
But, yeah.
powerhouses of the AFL.
He's got the
Absolutely.
best record, of win-loss ratios, Pike, and he's
Yes,
out.
and he's out.
And he's out.
That's right.
Wow.
I think
crazy.
it might be a good move for the Crows though, from what we're hearing internally. But
Okay.
boys, stick around. We got plenty more before the bounce. And again, thank you to the Exchange Hotel in Gawler. Welcome back to Before the Bounce. We've got the stock report brought to you by Taylor Collison.
Davey Pittman.
Pitto
Good.
and the team down there. You want to return, mate? You've could have a
good
few
going,
over the
Steve.
time.
A couple of times of old Davies, and he's done pretty well by me too, by the way.
Mate, let's get straight into it. And the Crows obviously still in the hunt for a new coach now. And Ross Lyon, I saw today, they said probably the best coach
He's
on
an
the
impact
market.
coach. Look, he's an impact coach. He's got plenty of experience. He's an exciting coach. It might be something that they need, that a coach has got some real strength about himself, because that's, the rumours are going. There's too much input from around the intersection of the coaching group, and someone like Ross Lyons won't let it happen. And I think that might be a bit of a blessing in disguise with someone like Ross at the helm there.
Yeah, so you'd like
I'd like
to
to see him. Yeah, I think he's tough. He's good. He's exciting when he talks to the media. He's been in a couple of grand finals. He's been around the mark many times during finals campaigns, and I've run his race at Fremantle. He's there for a long time, and hey, pick your bag up and get down to Adelaide and have a go at that one.
Probably didn't keep the success that he would have liked to at Freo, and you hear a lot. Say he's a coach. He's a very good coach of champion players, but not a very good coach of developing players.
Well, it's hard to say that because every time he actually, was at St Kilda, he developed a team, and then he developed some champions. Same with Freo. We're talking about a pretty young side when he took them over. He developed a team and then also developed some champions. So, the Crows, are probably need that a bit of a, what they say, they're talking about a sweep out. Well, if you get someone like that in there, I mean, he's going to do that anyway. Yeah. And he would take a team. He's got some great ideas. He's a very strong individual, and he speaks great to the press. And I think that's what Adelaide people need. Yeah. So you're going to give him a 4-year deal? I give him a buy. Why not? Yeah. Why not?
Get the pocket out today, mate. No. Yeah. And I'm going to hold on him. I think just
I knew you would.
See what other candidates come up. Yeah. Not my cup of tea, Ross. So we'll leave it at that for now.
Maybe they don't need a good cup of tea, Adelaide Crows. Maybe they need someone to stir the pot up a little bit and get a bit angry and show a bit of character and get the side running, because they're just so inconsistent. And we hear about all these people in the top of the tree that are having too much influence. Get a coach that won't let that happen. Ross Lyon won't.
Yep, I love it, and I love the enthusiasm as well, mate.
Well, what's a young coach going to do? He's going to get there, and all of a sudden you've got all these high, pressures from the top, having influences, and we're going to be back to square one. So, what do you honestly think?
No,
you're going to still hold, eh?
I'm holding on him.
That's fine.
I'm just going to wait and see. Might be a couple others come up. We don't know yet. But keeping on the Crows, Hugh Greenwood reported that he wants 4-year deal at $3 million to stay an Adelaide Crow.
Wow, that's big money for that player that played a lot of the year in the SNFL. Geez, you worked that out, SNFL-wise.
You're right.
Wow, that's incredible. Well, I don't understand that. I mean, he played very inconsistent this year. A good game for him is 20 possessions. I know he starts on the bench, but how can you start on the bench on a side that finished completely out of the top 8 and say this is what I'm worth? Yeah. So. I think that he's putting a lot of pressure on his shoulders, and if he wants that sort of money, I don't think he'll perform. And that's what generally happens to players.
Absolutely
so
agree.
I would let him go.
Sell him. He's 27 years old. A 4-year deal takes him to 31. Come to the game late. It's a bit of a ridiculous demand.
I think for the punter, and I love football, and I love watching the Crows. I love watching Port Adelaide and AFL. Come on, please. $3 million for a player that played most of the year in the SNFL. I'm not sure.
No, I'm with you, Ando. I'm selling him as well. Okay. Even if I was at his house the other day.
Sorry, I am saying he's still he's a very exciting player, but he hasn't got the consistency at the moment. As you were saying, he starts a lot on the bench to be worth that amount of money.
100%. No, he's got a lot of improving to do, and still he's got a lot of footy.
Big mark.
Yeah, he's exciting. He's got a lot of footy ahead of him, but. That's probably a little bit ridiculous. He's got to work backwards.
Let's not put that weight on your shoulders. Just go out there and start getting 30 possessions.
No, 100%. Now, obviously, Sam Powell-Pepper from the Power. Yeah. He's had his troubles out off field and whatnot. Essendon looks like they might be in the race to get his services for next year. If you're Essendon,
I would be really happy to get Sam. I think he's a really exciting player. I mean, yes, he was another player that went down for a bit of a stint. In the SNFL and just performed magnificently there, by the way, and then sort of came up and just had some great weeks of footy with the Power, really exciting weeks, and you're sort of scratching your head thinking, how does this player, go down and play in the SNFL, So he showed a little bit of inconsistency, but Port Adelaide were probably the worst team at it this year. So I think Sam going to Essendon would be a great thing for the Essendon Footy Club. And I actually think it's a bit sad for Port Pad to lose him, because he's just been a bit of an icon player, really. The number of Guernseys out in the crowd that's got his number on the back is just phenomenal. So they're losing a really popular player. So I'd probably think twice. But Essendon point of view, buy if it was if the Power come on, have a better think about it. Keep them at the power.
Yeah, Ando, I'm with you. I think it won't just be Essendon that'll be after his services. I reckon there'll be at least a handful of clubs that are looking to get a player of his calibre into their side.
He just works so hard off the ball. He just closes,
100%.
The pressure he puts on the ball getter, and when he gets it, he's so exciting.
Yeah.
The bald nude nut just running down that wing. He's pretty
bowling
exciting.
ball salad.
Oh, he is. I mean, he's exciting.
We'll get him alongside Ben Cunnington at North Melbourne, mate, and we'll be cherry ripe to go for a flag next year. But no, I'm buying as well. So that's a stock report there for another week at Before the Bounce, and thank you to David Pittman and the team at Taylor Collison. Welcome back to Before the Bounce. We're here with the Amateur League Spotlight, brought to you by D-Fibs Are Us. Ando joining us tonight. He's slipping into Div 1 Premiership, or Div 1 Grand Final on the weekend,
fantastic.
I should say. Brett Backwell, thanks for joining us again,
Thanks,
mate.
guys.
And I should just quickly say thanks very much to the Maiden Magpie, of course, to making their upstairs available to us and being live audience, which is fantastic. And Greg and Trent and Jason, Faye, thank you so much. Big one this week. It's fantastic and well done. Congratulations! And another grand final with the PAC boys, which is fantastic. You coached them to an A1 Premiership a couple of years ago. Is there much difference in the shape of the side? Have we got a couple of new faces?
Yeah, it's probably fluctuated a fair bit. It's a completely different feeling. It's funny, the boys were talking about it last night. The feeling compared to 16 to now.
Yeah.
16 was unknown.
Yep.
First year Div 1, no expectations.
So no expectations, and you won the flag.
Yeah, people didn't think we'd win a game.
Really?
So you come in, we structured differently. We played really well. We were very fortunate to win the grand final, and then we've probably lost a fair few players. We've got a few back, and as you know, lists change every year.
Oh, yeah.
So we've got a really, really strong list. It's a great feeling at the moment. There's a lot of excitement. There's a lot of buzz around town. I think not having the AFL clubs still going, it filters back the SNFL in the final week.
Exactly, yeah.
And everyone just wants to talk SNFL Div 1 now.
Yeah.
So being a standalone game, it's really exciting.
Yeah. I've had probably 8-9 people that said they're going to go to, just people I bumped into today saying they're going to head off to Theban Oval and watch the Div 1 Grand Final. So you are right. It's just the other two teams out.
And if the last few games are anything to go by, it's going to be a fierce contest.
Yeah.
Payneham Norwood, fantastic side, coached by the great man himself, Macca.
Yeah.
They're fierce, they're tough, they're very well balanced. They've got some key players that are really dangerous.
Yeah.
So it's going to be on.
Is it one of the toughest years in Div 1 that you can remember? Because the top 5, really, you throw the...
Probably the top 3, obviously the top 3 all finish on the same points. And I think across the year there's about 20 points worth of percentage different for the whole year. So super even competition, 3 or 4 really good sides. Yeah. And even on that day, some of the bottom sides would knock off the top side. So if you had a bad day, you get beat. So the competition's really healthy. It's great. It's really good footy. There's some really good superstars at that level running around.
Yep.
Some AFL experience, a lot of SNFL experience. It's going to be a big day.
Yeah, fantastic.
And Brett, you're obviously, from talking to you last time, you're a massive planner and thinker of the game and how to set up and structures and all the rest of it. How much footage of Norwood or Payneham have you watched in the last couple of weeks leading into the
Yeah,
GF?
if you ask my wife too much. I spend a lot of time at night, most nights sitting watching tape when we've played them, when other teams have played them. I went out and watched them play Roster Ever on the weekend. I've watched that game back probably 3 or 4 times. I've cut vision, I've watched that vision back. I've cut edits for players. So I know them pretty well.
Yeah.
Mac is the type of coach that doesn't pull too many shifties, so you know exactly what they're going to do.
What you're going to get.
They just do it really well.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to be better for longer.
And they've got Milne in the middle, the big ruckman, so very hard player to stop. He's absolute class. So you've got a bit of a task on the hands there.
Yeah, they're just strong across the board. If you look at their forward half, they've got Davis, Forster, big Nick Jolly, Christian Rook, ex-Norwood SNFL Premiership players, come back and spending some time through there. Their mids, they've got the 2 Giannini's Ansel along with Milne.
Yeah.
Nick Jolly's a big, strong body that goes in there and rucks. Their back half, I think Dylan Orcello's the best defender in the comp.
Yeah.
They get Pierce Seymour back from the Adelaide Crows this week. So they're a very well-balanced footy team.
Are you finding that a bit like the SNFL, it's the change of style is really getting that way of the AFL and just the work rate and the changes as well from the interchange bench is greater and greater.
Yeah, I guess my philosophy on footy is I base our stuff around the AFL.
Yeah.
So we're very well structured. We shuffle the decks a bit. We change our lanes and layers with our footy. Payneham a bit different.
Yeah.
Paynham's a bit Macca old school. They rush and roulette through the middle. They bash and crash, and they kick it in their big key forwards. So we'll account for that. We've had a really good preparation. I know sitting next to the latest member of the SA Hall of Fame is a huge achievement. But last night I was fortunate to have Peter Motley come down and talk to the boys, and just a bit about some of Jeff's history in the SNFL and playing in 11 straight grand finals and winning 9 and Mott's stuff at Carlton. Just that the opportunity doesn't come around every day.
No.
And you look at Mott's, unfortunately, the accident put to bed his career at a very young age.
Yeah.
So for our guys,
Superstar at 22.
It was just about the opportunity to make the most of this weekend, because you never know when the next one will come. And Mott's was fantastic. He obviously told a few jokes and had a bit of fun, and the boys loved it. So we've had a really good prep. We'll train tomorrow night, and then we'll hopefully lift the cup on Sunday afternoon.
Lovely.
And Brett, it is at Thebarton Oval. You probably don't come across many ovals that size throughout the year. So is that something that you've taken into consideration with your training load and just your match, I guess, set up for the weekend as well?
Yeah, look, we went and trained there last night, which was great. And we did some full ground movement drills and just to let the boys experience the different size. It is big. They have pulled, I noticed last night, they have pulled the boundaries in a little bit. So it's not as big as it could be. But it's going to be good. It's a big deck. We kick the footy a fair bit. We're pretty talented with our feet. We try and maintain possession of the ball, especially in our back half. So the big deck will suit us.
Will suit you, yeah.
Although they are expecting 15 to 20 mil of rain on Friday and maybe a few showers Saturday. So fingers crossed that doesn't come, because I don't want to sit in the rain. The boys play well in the rain, but I just don't want to sit in it. So
you had a pretty tough, your last game was pretty tough, because that was out at Payneham Nord, and that was a pretty tough sort of conditions there as well.
Yeah, she was boggy, windy,
Yeah.
scrappy footy, and it just became an arm wrestle.
So as you said, that puts you in a good stead in different conditions. So whether it's dry, whether it soaks up pretty quickly.
Both teams got to play in whatever it throws up.
Yeah.
So you just got to be better on the day, and whatever happens, you got to adapt to it, and hopefully that our systems and we can control it better than they do. And it's not going to be won in the first 5 minutes, I'll guarantee you that. It's going to be an arm wrestle.
Just a little bit on the SNFL, being a former Glenelg McGarry medalist as well, of course. That's a big game.
It's super exciting.
You've got a big weekend. If there's a past player, McGarry medalist of Glenelg Footy Club, they got the big game Sunday.
Yes.
You've got a huge game Saturday.
I'll be
wow.
Win, lose or draw on Saturday. I'll be smoke bombing the silly Sunday antics to sneak down to Adelaide Oval to watch the mighty Bays go around.
Yeah.
It's 30 years since their last one, 32 years, 10 years since we went out in straight sets in 09.
That's right,
So the club are due, and they've been the best all year. They're very talented, very well balanced. I think their back half is probably underrated. Chrissy Curran and Maxi Proud and Michael Virgin, and I know Motti floats through there from time to time, but everyone talks about their forwards and their midfield group, but I think their back half is very strong, and it's going to be a good game. We all hate Port Adelaide. Except for you.
Only for that.
But look, as I heard you say before, there's a fierce rivalry, and that Port Glenelg. I know I played at Alberton a few times and had different liquids thrown.
And
on
reciprocal the other way as well, by the way. Don't worry about reciprocal the other way.
So,
played down in the bay.
Yeah, I'll be wearing a baseball cap and a mask and hiding up on the hill somewhere away from the traffic. But look, hopefully Glenelg will get the win. It's going to be a great game of footy. I know Port are in really good form, so the Bays.
Yeah.
So bring it on.
Yeah, fantastic.
Brett, thank you very much for joining us. All the best on Saturday, and then for the Bays on Sunday. I'm sure it'll be a huge weekend.
Big doubleheader.
Big doubleheader.
Good luck and all the best, mates.
Thanks, guys.
And thank you again to DFibs R Us, and we'll be back. We've got plenty more before the bounce.
And welcome back to Before the Bounce. It's a segment on the couch with Ando, and it's thanks to Rachel Laurie at Ray White North Adelaide, and she's a recent winner of the Best Office in South Australia Award. So that's a great award. Welcome to Steve Geyer on the couch with Ando. What about that?
Thank you. With a living legend too, by the way.
No, let me tell you, 208 games of West Torrens and then Woodville West Torrens. Life member of the SNFL. We'll just go back a little bit. You're from the Adelaide Hills.
Correct.
So you started out at Mount Barker.
Played at Mount Barker, yes.
Just from juniors?
Just juniors up there, and fortunate enough then to get asked to go down to Sturt and played under 17s and under 19s. Played, I think, about 30 odd reserves games during that time as well.
So you're still obviously pretty young then as well.
Correct.
So
And then basically, because Sturt was still a powerhouse, this is in the late 70s and through there in the early 80s. So they were still a powerhouse with Bagshaw and Flash Graham and Rick Davies and all
Flash
those.
Graham.
Yeah,
Wow. Yeah,
absolutely.
Jimmy Derrington, Frankie Spiel.
Exactly.
Yeah, Simsy.
So, geez, now you're pulling out all the names.
Hutton.
And so it was hard to crack in.
Yep.
And basically, there was a few of us were told that we probably weren't going to get a game of league football. So I ventured back up to the hills for a couple of years. I hope you don't mind me talking.
Yeah.
And fortunate enough, back then they played the Lovelock Shield on the June long weekend, which is the inter-association games.
Yep.
And the coach in '83 was a guy by the name of John Graham.
Okay, yeah.
Former West Torrens, 300 games, life member, all of those sort of things.
Yeah.
So he coached it, and after the carnival, I just said, would you like to come down to Torrens and have a try? So he got me out to Torrens, and I guess the rest is history.
Yeah.
Glenn Elliott must have seen something in me.
So you cracked into the side pretty quickly?
Yes, played the first 84, played the first probably about 12 games of the league football.
Yep.
And then went back.
And then obviously just consistent for the next 11 years. So
that's right.
So and now I always find.
Can I tell you a quick story about my debut against Nord?
Yep.
And Glenn Elliott said, "You're going to tag Michael Aish." So this is 80. This is 84.
Yeah.
This is, and I think
it's just on the McGarry medal a couple of years
that's
earlier.
Right.
So yeah, superstar.
So I think Aishi might have had 40 touches.
Oh right.
And I think they probably beat us by about 16 goals.
Oh wow! And that was your first game.
That was my first game.
Oh wow!
So I thought things can only get better.
They'll only get better. so now the amalgamation. I mean, obviously that would have been really tough, because you think of two clubs that obviously probably in the players' point of view don't really want that to happen. They've got to accept it. Mm-hmm. They've got to come together instead of probably 50, 60 at training. We've got lots more.
Yes.
How did you find all that?
It was interesting from a playing perspective. You have self-doubt as to whether, because as I said earlier, you've got to prove yourself all over again.
But you got a really good side at West Torrens. I mean, that was a tough side.
Absolutely.
Stephen Stretch, you got Bruce Lindsay. You had some cracking players.
And then we picked up Lawrence Shackey from Sturt, Darryl Smith from Sturt, and Robbie Popplestone from Sturt. So we actually had a very good side.
Very strong side,
So it was, and then when you amalgamated the good players from Woodville into that, it became a powerhouse.
But you said you had a bit of self.
You just don't, not so much self-doubt. I think that's probably the wrong word.
100 odd players at training as well. That doesn't help. Yeah,
that's right. And you just see where you sit. It's almost starting over as a kid again, going, all right, who do I have to beat to get that position? So it puts you on notice again, which is probably a good thing, I think, because you got to play on the edge a little bit.
Yeah, and I suppose it was probably towards the middle of your career too. So it was a nice little spark.
Yeah, that's right.
You're still with West Torrens, but you've given the spark, and then you've play another 100 odd games, which is fantastic.
Yeah, that's right. I think the biggest catalyst for the merge was the appointment of Neil Balmer as coach.
Yeah, super coach.
Absolute super coach.
Yeah.
Could do everything from player management to, giving a player a rev up.
Yep.
So he knew his players and knew how to
got
do
the
it.
best out of you.
Absolutely, and really brought the merge together.
Yeah,
he did. He was sensational.
200 games, fantastic. How the big 200 must have been something pretty special.
It was, but we lost to South Adelaide. But it was still a great day. It was, so thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And it is. It's a milestone. You play 10 years of football. It's good to sort of a little personal reward along the way.
Yeah, and then you sort of dabbled into coaching as well. I mean, not just dabbled into. I know you were very successful in the hills.
Yes.
That was a great period of time for you.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to coach Mount Barker Football Club to a premiership, and then the second year we lost the grand final by 6 points to Eurasia.
You'd never have guessed that because I did visit the Mount Barker Footy Club not long ago, and it's like this. Is the oval called Stevie Guy Oval? I guess that's what I wanted to ask. Your photos everywhere.
I did that setup just because I knew you were coming.
Is that what it was?
So no, it's a very proud club.
Yeah.
Long tradition and a very successful club.
So premiership and
yes.
the following year
yes.
in the grand final. Yep. So how many years did you end up coaching?
Coached for 4 years up there, and then ventured down the hills again, down to the plains here, and helped out Shane Grimm at Woodville West Torrens with the under-18s program out there for a few years.
You also coached a first 18 side as well?
Did. Yep. So then I did 3 years with Prince Alfred College for their first 18s. And that was a fantastic experience. Just really.
Because I know they really put a lot into their football
They do,
program.
absolutely.
Being from St Michael's, it was always tough to play PAC.
Yes.
Were you able to sort of go outside the square in the way of school football, or was it really structured?
No, definitely outside. Their football program is very elite for college football.
Yeah.
But we do get full reign to play how we want to play. So we can identify the strengths and weaknesses and play to what we want to do.
And a couple of players in that time that have sort of gone on, and
there's a few players actually through the periods. Aaron Francis, who's now at Essendon and playing some good football out there. George Hewitt, who's at the Swans, he's PAC boy. Of recent times, I'm trying to think, there's that many of them. I think every year there's probably one or two players
from PAC in there
that get drafted. The last year, Tommy Sparrow's gone to Melbourne, Kay Chandler's gone to Melbourne. So,
Is it something that you still like to do, is to get back involved in coaching, or you're sort of at the stage where I've coached enough, nice, like to sit back, just go and watch footy on a Saturday? And
I think it's probably the latter now. I think my time is probably done, but I still... you say it, but then when you walk across the white line, you get on the field, you just go, you love this. You do. So I've done a bit of mentoring with a couple of young guys that I know who are into the coaching game, so I've been helping them out.
Yeah. And so in the way of helping them out in the way of coaching, because that's interesting, so you're actually mentoring coaches.
Yes.
Okay, tell us a bit about that.
Basically, you go watch a game, you go watch them train, you listen to how they talk and how they relate to the players and all those sort of things, and then the next week we'll sit down, have a cup of coffee, and just basically no different to a player review. You review what your performance was on the day.
Geez, I wish you could have done that for me. So, your favourite game? What was it? One of the games that really sticks out?
Oh, look, first game. Even though we got always the first game. 200's always is a great game. And then probably finally just playing finals football.
Yeah, something special, isn't it?
Finals. It is, absolutely final. And I know you're a Port man, but I still, it just irks me. Like 92 semi-finals in 92 playing Port, and we were up and everything, and then all of a sudden I just remember hearing Timmy Chenoweth saying, "Don't let these
so-and-sos, we call them so-and-sos."
Yeah, get it. And Port just lifted.
Yeah.
And from that I just thought, you're never going to win a final until you beat Port Adelaide.
Yeah, it's a bit like that, or it used to be a bit like that, of course.
True.
And you see the footy today. I mean, I mean, you've played the game for many years. You've coached for many years. Have you seen a big change in football? Like,
oh, definitely. In a lot of areas, the size of the players.
Yeah.
They're not my size anymore.
Yeah.
There's not too many guys of my size. They're all 6 foot plus.
Yeah, but they're probably a lot leaner than
athletic.
You're very muscly and very strong when you played.
Yeah.
You don't see that sort of build anymore either. So
no, that's right.
I'd rather, those guys probably run into me rather than you run into me, because you're like a tank. So it's a bit of,
absolutely.
Give and take a bit.
They're more athletic the way they play football.
Yeah.
It is. So is it good for the game? Yeah, I think it is. It's a different
it's
game.
Fast, isn't it, now?
It's
fast,
just high impact and fast.
Yeah.
But I think it is good for the game.
Yeah. So, your time at Sturt, you've gone to West Torrens, Woodville West Torrens. Which is the sort of the club that impressed you the most?
Oh, look. We had success at Torrens, Woodville West Torrens, I should say, at the Eagles. But I don't know, most of my career was at Torrens. Yeah. And the memories of Torrens and the Torrens grandstand. And
you had some characters.
We had some great characters.
I love chatting to Stephen Stretch, who's a good
friend of ours.
Teammate of yours and friend of ours, and I just love him talking about his West Torrens days, and I know you're a big part of that, and you've got some fantastic
characters. The Scruff Hannahs sitting, and all those, Lee Robson, just great blokes.
I'm already thinking about some of those stories. I know you can't bring them up, but there's some very funny characters. Over 200 games, life member of the SNFL. Thanks so much for joining me on the couch. Really appreciate it.
And congratulations to Ando too, Hall of Fame. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
But thanks for coming on. Absolutely brilliant. Great
Loved
chatting.
it.
Back after the break.
We're back with Before the Bounce, and we're brought to you by My Foot Doctor, Happy Feet, Happy Athlete. And we've had a big show tonight, but it'd be
Great show. A lot of fun. Made magpies. Greg Fay, fantastic.
It's absolutely brilliant. Be very remiss of me, this time last week, inducted into the SA NFL Hall of Fame, mate.
Yeah.
A massive honour.
It was a great honour.
Something really
Pleasant
special.
surprise. It was really special and very thrilled. It was a wonderful night as well.
No, and we just want to, I know we've all said it to you, but pass on our congratulations to you at Piranha Media and how much fun it is working alongside of you. And for myself as well, it's been very exciting to get to work alongside of you this year, mate, and
nice
to celebrate.
Thing you've said all year, actually, so that's great.
Well, we might go a little bit. To celebrate, we got 60 seconds with Ando.
Here we go.
So I'm just going to throw some questions at you, just some quick fire answers, mate. So, question 1: have you ever sent a text to the wrong person?
Funny, so I'd done it the other week. It was to go to Paul Salmon, and I set it to Pat from Solomon's, so you could sort of see that. And I was sending him my room number, and old Pat goes, "Oh, Greg, really?" So anyway, yes, I have.
Yeah. If you could kill off any character from a current TV show, who would it be?
I don't know. My God. No, I'm in trouble. I might have to come back to that one.
We'll come back to that one. If you could make a rule that for one day that everyone had to follow, what would it be?
Love thy neighbour, don't get caught. There you go.
Very interesting. Would you streak across the MCG for $1 million?
Definitely. Definitely.
And if you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
It would have to be steak. I love steak, yeah.
And if you're about to get into a fight, what song would you want playing?
It'd have to be Rocky, wouldn't it? That'd be Rocky. That's the
Bit
only thing that might get me going.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'll be buying the bloke a drink and saying, sorry about that. Have I upset you?
Or playing dead as well.
Oh, I've done that before.
I was going to say.
Got a big blue at something. I got nearly knocked out at Taekwondo Oval. David Holtz kicked me in the face. So I'm lying there and I could just hear a huge amount of fighting going above me. And I thought, I'm 16 years old. Probably best I just lay low here and just make it. I got knocked out.
Very, very good. And would you rather eat a bowl of crickets or a bowl of worms?
I'd go the crickets.
And if you had to escape Australia, where would you choose to live?
I'd probably go to Hawaii.
Yep.
Yeah,
Don't mind
fantastic, beautiful.
Very
beautiful
nice spot.
Part of the world.
Now, very controversial in the modern day, pineapple on pizza.
Oh, no question. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
with you there. Go for it. And could you go a week without using your mobile phone?
No possible way. If I walk a metre away from my phone, I know it's not on me. Something tells me, go back one step, grab your mobile.
Yeah, and have you ever been tied to a toilet door?
Well, funny about that, I have. Yes, after a grand final or back at the pub at Ethelton, the boys heard me ring my wife up to say I've had enough, can you come and pick me up? And the word got out that I was trying to leave early, and all of a sudden handcuffs come out and I was handcuffed to the toilet door. So for about 2 hours, everyone that wanted to go to the toilet, I had to open up the door, which was pretty embarrassing. And of course, once the players sort of had enough of their beer and sort of ended up with their slops at the bottom of their glass, it was just mandatory to throw it over the top of me. That's okay.
Oh, there you go. And last of all, would you go to jail for a week or would you fight Mike Tyson?
I'd probably fight Mike Tyson. Hopefully, I'd have a bit of speed. And I'd do one of those Scooby-Doo things, just run around the ring without him getting me. They'll be running quick enough. Good knee or bad knee, don't worry about it to try to stay out of trouble.
I'd be going to jail for
really?
Sure, 100%. Tell you that. But Greg, thank you very much for joining us. As always, you're not going anywhere. Here at Before the Bounce, you've been a huge part of that, and a massive congratulations to the Hall of Fame.
I'm sorry about this, but it would be you.
What?
That I would have cut from a current TV show. It would be you.
Yep.
Sorry about that.
Thanks for getting one back, Greg. But thanks to My Foot Doctor for all their support here at Before the Bounce. Stick around, we've got plenty more. And it's been a big first year of Before the Bounce.
It's been great.
It's been unreal.
Yeah.
We're here at the last episode for season 2019, mate.
We've had a fantastic audience. I mean, it's just wonderful people coming up in the street and saying, I love the show, love this segment, love that segment. They've just been wonderful.
Mate, they've loved every minute of it as well. So it's going to be excellent. We're not completely going away, Ando.
No, we're going to do a segment once a month, off season.
Yep.
Because so much happens.
That's
You've got
exciting
trades, you've got drafts, you've got shuffle boards. We've got, of course, coaches we're still going to be talking about.
Yep.
So plenty still happening, as you know, off season.
No, so we're not completely going away. It's still very exciting time leading into year 2 of Before the Bounce, which is going to be even more exciting, mate. But it's been an unbelievable first 6 months. We've had some incredible guests on.
Great guests.
Unbelievable.
Lots of viewers, which is absolutely fantastic. And what about some of our sponsors?
Oh, the sponsors, we can't thank our sponsors
enough. How much
enough.
fun was that at North Adelaide?
Ray Wyatt's
Real Estate with Rachel Laurie. That was a great show.
Great show. So many amazing guests coming through there as well, and she's one of our great sponsors. But we would like to thank all of our sponsors, and we've touched on this man. He's a fantastic man, Damien McGee at the Exchange Hotel. He's an absolute ripper. D-Fibs are us.
Yep.
My Foot Doctor, Lauren and Mark down there. They come down to AFL Max with us.
That was good fun.
That was a brilliant show. Probably, I still get people ask me about
how you knock yourself out. I have no idea. I reckon you got hit harder by that big steel pole than I did from South Salisbury. Don't worry about that.
I had people on Saturday still going to me, how good's that footage of you falling down the thing?
That's a classic.
I thought it had gone under the radar. It certainly hadn't.
Don't worry about the bouncing thing either. That was like Kermit the Frog. A lot of fun.
No, it's lots of fun. Modern Trailers at Piranha, Cozzy and the team down there.
Great guys.
Ripper.
Yeah.
Absolute legend. Flight Centre.
Yep.
MGA.
Really good support, Flight Centre.
They are MGA Insurance Brokers, Steve McConnery and the team there. Rewards International and Southern Trophies, Darren and his team. Slow Tours with Carol and the team there. The PA Hotel in Gawler, Richard and Stacey, they're rippers as well. Peter Page Holden, Luke Page and Nat.
Sensational. And how many, I know it's great to have a live audience. He's always there.
He loves it.
He just loves it, and he's obviously a great
Excuse to get out of the house, I think.
Is that right? Okay. All right.
Not throwing him under the bus at all, Luke. He's a ripper of a man and another great supporter of us. And we touched on it, Rachel Laurie and the team at Ray White, North Adelaide.
Yep.
We've got to keep up to date with them and the girls who have got the Olympic qualifiers coming up as well. So we're going to keep up to date with them. And of course,
and that's what gives us that flexibility of that the monthly show. I reckon that's great. So we'll get some of those guests back and just see how they're tracking along as well.
Absolutely, mate. And the Alma Hotel as well, where we filmed a lot of the
guys.
Rue, Tech, Sloaney. Shout out to Sloaney. Had baby yesterday as well, which is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
So a shout out to them and all the support they've given us as well, and of course as well the Maiden Magpie as well. We can't forget them.
The Faye family, always very, very kind.
Here from tonight. So we thank all of our sponsors. It's been a great year getting to work along the great man in Greg Anderson, to only then get into the Hall of Fame last week. So
I actually thought I got into that because of my Before the Bounce segments. So I thought I was going, but
we'll take that.
We'll take that. It wasn't for anything to do with football. It was my performance on Before the Bounce. I've got Hall of Fame, and I think Rocky Butterworth signed the certificate. So that's good. Thanks, Rocky.
So we got to thank as well, while we touch on Rock, our producer Rocky, that puts this all together. Beasley Technologies, Lee and Mary that put this together every week as well. So we've got to thank all of them, all of our great supporters and viewers. We appreciate it, and we cannot wait to get stuck back in to season 2020. Ando, it's been great. That's all we've got for 2019.
Yep.
Don't forget, find us on Facebook at the South Australian Footballer, Piranha Media. You can find us at our YouTube channel as well, the SA Footballer TV, for all content around South Australian football, all our magazines, and especially Before the Bounce each week. With over 155,000 subscribers, you can't go wrong with the South Australian Football and Piranha Media.